Hey, welcome to Dad Space. Happy Father's Day, everyone. It's 2024, our 2-year anniversary of Dad Space. And I want to say happy Father's Day to you, Dad. I hope that you have the best Father's Day that you've ever had. If you're a new dad, welcome to the club. If you're an old dad like me, thank you for being here. It's Father's Day weekend, dads. We're here to celebrate you. And I have some words of encouragement for all the dads. So first, again, happy Father's Day. I hope that you have a wonderful Father's Day weekend, whether that's barbecues or throwing the ball with your kids or going to the beach or I don't know, whatever you're going to do. Enjoy your Father's Day. Thank you for checking out Dad Space. We're here to celebrate together. You and me, two dads getting together to celebrate all things dad. So glad you're here. Now, as I look at Father's Day, the one thing I know that I kind of work through is, hey, am I enough? Am I doing enough as a dad? Am I making the impact that I dreamt I would have? Am I on the right path? Do my kids see what I'm trying to do and all my failures and all the things where I fall short and I know I'm not doing it as good as I could? Do my kids see my heart? Do the kids see my efforts? Do they know I love them? Do they know that I care? Now, what makes my situation a little unique, and some of you might identify with this, is I'm an empty nest dad. So my kids are gone. My kids are out of the house. They're doing life. I have no idea where they are in this current moment. I could not pinpoint even their location for you. I have no idea what they're up to. And as a dad, that's a little bit of a fearful moment because you're like, oh my gosh, I hope they're okay. But also it's a proud moment knowing that with myself and my wife, Jen, we've got our kids to the point where they're self-sufficient. Yeah, they're learning, they're finding their way, but they're on their own and they're surviving and they're doing good. So that makes me feel good as a dad that my kids have something from what they've learned here in our home that is keeping them moving forward in their life. So that's a good feeling. But again, a fearful feeling at the same time. So what I wanted to do today on this bonus episode of Dad Space is celebrate you, and I want to give you some words of encouragement because I think that as dads, we don't get enough of this in the sense that maybe we're not looking for it or we're not open to it. Maybe we downplay it. But I want you to hear these words today because I think they mean something to you, and maybe these are words that you haven't heard enough. So I wanted to be the dad, the guy in your corner to put these words in front of you. And I want you to think about these things and kind of ruminate. There's a word for you. Ruminate on these words as we go through these. So some words of encouragements for our dads here on Dad Space. When I think of dads, I think of all the things we wrestle with that our kids don't know about. All of the things that are in our hearts and in our minds that maybe our kids don't even realize that we wrestle with as dads. So I want to start off with this. Dad, you listening right now, I want you to know that you are an amazing father. And your family is so grateful for your love, your guidance, and for your support. You are amazing. How often do you hear those words? We do the thing, we go to work, we parent the best we can, we feel like we're stretched in 1,000 different directions. And we don't know if we're truly amazing. We see the dads on movies and TVs and go, wow, if I could be like that dad, if I could be the Clark Griswold at Christmas and decorate the house and all the lights, if I could be the funny dad or the loving dad. And we wonder if we really are truly amazing. And I want to tell you that you are. and that your family does really love all the love that you give them and the guidance you give them and all the support. So Dad, first off, you are amazing, and you need to know that. Also, I want to thank you for being that role model in your family, that role model of strength and wisdom and your unwavering commitment to your family. Whether you are co-parenting, maybe you and your partner have separated, maybe you've been married forever, 31 years, like, roughly for myself and my wife, 31 years, like, wow. Whatever your status is as a dad, as a husband, as a partner, thank you for being such a great role model. Again, of the strength and the wisdom and the commitment to your family. That takes a lot. And that happens behind the scenes. Doesn't get a lot of fanfare. We're in the month of June. It's Men's Mental Health Month. And I think these things are timely. And I think you need to hear these words over and over again. So please feel free to come back here anytime you need to top up your cup, because I think you need to hear these words. Thank you for being that role model. Also, your dedication to raising your kids with kindness and patience is truly inspiring. Beyond the lessons that you speak to your children, your actions, and how you show up for them, how you deliver, how you're present with them, is really, truly inspiring. It takes a dedicated father to have the impact that lasts with your kids long after they're gone from your home. And you're thinking, wow, I'm surrounded by diapers. I'm surrounded by crying children and bottle feedings at 3 a.m. And, oh, Dave, you have no idea how much I would just like to have a nap. Your dedication to raising your family, again, with kindness and patience, is outstanding. You are an amazing dad. As a fellow dad, I also admire the sacrifices that you make every single day to provide for your family and to create a loving home. That feeling of home. Right now, my wife and I are out looking at properties. We're looking at buying something. And when you go into an empty house, especially when there's like no furniture, the house is vacant, you walk into this blank canvas and it just feels like, it feels cavernous. It feels empty. It feels devoid of humanity. It's just this building with windows and doors and paint on the walls and stains on the carpet. It's just this vacant place where there was celebrations, there was laughter, there was love, there was pain, disappointment, and joy. All these things happened in this place, but right now it's empty. We as dads help create a loving home so that when we walk through the door, our kids feel that immediate safety, security, acceptance. Even when they mess up, they know that walking through that front door, they're walking into a loving home. And that's your part, that's your partner's part. But you have a big part to play in having a loving home. So I really admire you for creating that loving place for your family to grow up. Those memories around celebrations and birthdays and holidays and dinners and parties and board games and wrestling with the kids on the carpet in front of the TV, reading a book on the couch, rocking your child while they're sick in that rocking chair over in the corner of the room. You've created a loving home, and your kids will grow up to love and respect you for that. They will fondly look back at those opportunities where you created a place where they felt secure. So thank you for creating that. Your children are truly blessed to have you as a father who leads by example, teaches them important values, and demonstrates life lessons. Your kids are watching you. Think of your favorite concert, comedian, presentation, that person that's up on the stage receiving all the accolades for whatever they're good at. You're that. You're on the stage for your kids. They're looking at you going, wow, my dad is Superman. My dad is a superhero. I want to be like that. I want a piece of that when I grow up. I'm going to treat my family that way. Those are decisions they're making as they watch you. They want to emulate you, and they want to be like you. Your kids are blessed to have you. Your partner is blessed to have you. Your community is blessed to have you. The world would be a different place without you. And those memories would never happen if you weren't there. So thank you for being that example to your kids. You have such a positive influence on your kids. You help shape them into the wonderful people that they're becoming. And I say becoming for a reason. That process of becoming a wonderful person continues long after your kids leave your house. Like me, an empty nester. My kids are still on the journey of becoming a wonderful person. Yeah, they're great. I love my kids. But they still have so much to learn. And even though I parent from a distance now, instead of having everyone under one roof, I still have a role to play with my kids growing into that wonderful person. And no matter how old your kids are, if you're a brand new dad this year, congratulations, welcome to the club. If you've been parenting for 30 plus years like me, and you really learn a lot about yourself, and you really learn about how you can create this environment where your kids feel nurtured and they grow towards being that wonderful person. So thank you for having that kind of positive influence on your kids. Your love and your care for your family means everything to them. They could not do what they do without you. Truly. They would not have those successes had it not been for you. They need you. And even though sometimes there's wrestling that happens in the sense that there's power struggles and there's a search for independence, and I don't need your rules, I don't need your thoughts, I don't need your guidance, I got this. They do come back. And there's a recognition over time where they're like, wow, I think of it this way. The older my kids get, the smarter they understand that I am. When they're younger, they think I'm out of touch. They think I don't know what's going on. And they think they know best. But the older they get, the realization sinks in that, wow, my dad was actually on his game. He really did know what he was doing. They could not do this without you. Also, you are the rock and the strength, and you are your family's hero. They're really proud of you. And they're really proud to call you dad. They talk about you when you're not in the room. That's one of the questions I like to put to people. What do you want people to say about you when you're not there? What do you want your kids to say about you when they're at school? What do you want your kids to say about you to their friends? What do you want your wife, your partner, to say about you at work when the topic of your spouse comes up? Do you realize how proud they are of you? Do you wish they would tell you more often? Yes, it would be nice. It would be great to hear those words. And listening to this, I know that a large portion of this audience for Dad Space, according to what I can see in my statistics, are not men or women listening to the podcast. For the women listening, I would encourage you to make sure your husband, the father of your kids, knows how proud you are of them, what you say about them to others. Don't just assume that we know what you think of us. Because when we hear it from you, someone that we love and trust more than anyone else in this world, someone who knows all of our mistakes, someone who knows every failure we've ever done, who knows things about us that no one else knows, because you're the only one who will allow close enough to us to know these things about us. You know every fault, every crack, everything we hide. You know you know all of it. When someone like that knows us that well gives us that recognition and acknowledgement that you share with your friends at work and your family and others in your circle, when it comes from you, it means something different because you know us in a unique and special way. And don't assume that we know. Because I think there's a lot of guys out there that would love to hear those words on a more regular basis. I saw this thing on TikTok recently where there was some kind of awards ceremony. Everybody's dressed up really fancy, long flowing dresses, hair is perfect, flashes going off from the cameras, and lined up in front of us was a woman, beautiful dress, a man dressed up in his tuxedo, and then also two other women. So there's four of them up on this platform. And in that moment, they were celebrating something. I don't know what it was. I just caught the end of it. And as they're celebrating, a presenter comes out and hands to the first woman a bouquet of flowers. Another person comes out and has a second and third bouquet of flowers, giving it to the other two women on the left-hand side of the gentleman. So you have a woman holding flowers, you have a gentleman with no flowers, and then you have two other women holding flowers. And the basic thought there was, can we just normalize the fact that it's okay to give men flowers? Like, what an awkward moment to recognize the three women with a kind gesture, something beautiful, something graciously received for whatever they were celebrating, and have the one man kind of standing there with nothing in his hands, kind of looking around. And what I love in that moment is the woman to his left reaches into her bouquet and pulls out a single flower and hands it to the gentleman beside her. And it was basically, can we just normalize the fact that it's okay for guys to be acknowledged in that way? Can we just normalize that? Can we normalize the fact that it's okay to praise dad, to praise the men in our life? Whether it's flowers or it's not the thing, it's the acknowledgement. If it's normal for one group of people, it should be normal for the other group of people. I think you'd agree with that. This whole thing around equality. Can we see equality in our acknowledgement for the men in our life? Can we see the normalization of giving to someone more than just a $2 greeting card and maybe a can of beer or something and saying, Happy Father's Day, Dad. Here's a tie. Have a good day. Can we normalize the fact that men also need this kind of affirmation from the people that they love, that they're on the right path? So my challenge to everyone listening, you only have so many days with your dad on this earth. My dad is gone. He's been gone for many, many years. I don't have the luxury of a phone call or a text message from my dad. I don't have an email. I don't have a Facebook update where I can go give him my love on Facebook. I don't have a way to do that. And as a dad with no dad, If that's you, I feel what you're feeling in this time of the year. I wish I had a dad to celebrate right now. I don't even have a father-in-law to celebrate. My wife's dad is gone as well. It's very odd this time of year. And I got to say, and there's been a past few Father's Days in the last few years where I've kind of downplayed Father's Day. Again, my kids are gone. They're out of the house. We get busy. We do things. It's like Father's Day comes, Father's Day goes, and it's just another day. This Father's Day 2024, I want it to be different for you. I wanted to create this because I wanted you to hear these words of encouragement from another dad. And whether you have your family with you this weekend or not, whether you see your kids all the time or only on weekends or every other weekend, whether you're close to your kids or distant from your kids, whether they're young or old, I wanted you to hear these words because you are an amazing dad. You're a great role model. Your dedication to your family is outstanding. I really do admire the sacrifices that you make every single day. Your children are really, truly blessed to have you. You're a positive influence on your family. Your kids and your family could not do what they do without you. You are the rock and strength and hero of your home. Thank you for creating that loving home for your family. It goes beyond furniture, it goes beyond possessions, it goes beyond food in the cupboard. Those are like the basics that we need to provide for our family. I think you'd agree on that. But a loving home can't be purchased online and shipped to you through Amazon. You can't find loving home in an aisle in Walmart, or it can't be put into a bag and taken home with you. A loving home starts with you and how you show up for your family and how your family shows up for you. So on Father's Day 2024, I want to celebrate you. And thank you for listening to Dad Space. I hope that in our conversations here over the last 2 years, something has struck a chord for you, or you felt community. You felt like someone is out there and it's not just you. And that as you are listening to this in the car, if you're listening to this with your headphones on a walk, that the stories you hear on Dad Space help you realize that you are not alone. You are truly appreciated. You're seen. And we need you. Words of encouragement like this for you listening, and Dad is still a part of your life. These words of encouragement you can share. I'll put them in the show notes. Just take them all. If you don't know what to say, just read off the list and say these words to your dad so they can hear it come from you, not some guy in Canada on a podcast, but from your lips, from your heart, framed through your words to your dad. Just steal the list and read these off to your dad this Father's Day. Read this out to your spouse, your partner, this Father's Day. Kids, read this off to your dad. Make these into little notes and stick them in his lunch and put them in the truck and hide them in his toolbox and in his desk and wherever your dad puts his hands. Have one of these little notes, cut out a little slip of paper and just stick it there. So when he opens that drawer, lifts the lid of his lunchbox, there it is. Take this and use it as a guide this Father's Day. So your dad knows, and your husband knows, and your partner knows how important they really are. Because you know what? I can pretty well guarantee they're longing to hear this from you. And I would love for you to share it with them. So everyone listening, thank you for being part of Dad Space. We're heading into year 3. There's a lot of great episodes coming up. as we celebrate Father's Day for our second anniversary of Dad Space. Thank you for being here. Anything to do with Dad, you can find at dadspace.ca. And if you just want to spend some time talking to another dad, my information's there. I'd love to talk to you anytime. I'd love to meet you as a listener of the show and just introduce ourselves to each other and have a good old dad chat. Reach out anytime. I'd love to hear from you. To all the dads, happy Father's Day 2024. Thank you for being here. We're celebrating you. You're doing great. Keep it up. Looking forward to a great 2024. Go hug those kids. Go hug your wife. Go hug your spouse. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for listening to Dad Space. Thanks for hanging out to the end of the podcast. That's a great sign to wherever you're listening to this podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, fill in the blank, that this was a good podcast to send people to. So simply by listening to this point of the podcast, you're helping the show grow. So good on you. Thanks for helping us grow Dad Space. If you want to help us fill our cups over at Dad Space, head over to dadspace.ca. Dadspace.ca, simple website, right? Dadspace.ca. You can fill up our coffee cup, which helps us then to keep moving forward with the podcast, and use our Buy Me a Coffee link over at dadspace.ca. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for coming back. And thank you for sharing. Because the more dads we can help, the better. We're all here to help each other grow in community. That's what it's all about. And without you, podcast is pointless. There's no reason to do any of this. So you being here means everything. See you at dadspace.ca.